It hasn't been an easy couple of weeks for me, for any of us, actually, I imagine. But for me, my dear friend's husband died at the age of 57 from cancer, and I have a friend who is battling addiction and for whom recovery seems out of reach. My news feeds are full of sadness, full of anger and fear, trust in leadership that has been broken, and this perverse nature of those in power and positions of authority in this world. There is judgment that the collective we aren't doing enough, or we're doing it wrong, that our reactions might be playing into the very narrative we're trying to stop. I am heartbroken that not only can our Canadian neighbors be shot and killed in their place of worship during evening prayers, but that there continues to be this frightening tirade of division and hatred for our Muslim brothers and sisters based on lies or alternative facts, as some like to say. And then into this week's reflections and seeing everything that's happening around our world, there's two healing stories that speak of mercy and openness and love revealed. By the actions of Jesus, the boundaries of who is in the family of God is expanded. Jesus recognizes and heals the slave of a centurion, who, even as he is revered by the Jewish community around him for his support and love, the centurion is still a Gentile. He's still a soldier of the Roman Empire who represents enslavement and terrorism to the Jewish community. Jesus expresses amazement that there are those who are faithful and notice the presence of the Spirit in the world beyond the community of Israel. And I tell you, not even in Israel have I found such faith. And then we have the story of the widow, to whom Jesus responds with compassion, which literally means suffering with. And from the root word in Greek, splagchna, which I've killed, but that's the general Greek word, which means intestines. A deep, gut-wrenching response to the suffering of the widow, recognizing that for her, it's a dire situation in first century ancient world. She has little value since her husband died, and if her eldest son dies, very little recourse or place to go. Both of these people are included. They are welcome in the household of God. There is no distinction on those who Jesus encountered and included. Think about the community. Can you imagine what it would mean to those who witnessed these healings, besides holy fear that a dead guy came back to life? But once you got over that, there may have been a sense of belonging and assurance that God is present, that through the actions of Jesus there is life, that in the healing one might come close to wholeness. I'm reading this book by Rachel Held Evans called Searching for Sunday. And I'd like to read you a passage from it about healing, because it's so well written and so far beyond articulate. There's no way I could say this. So I'm going to read it to you. Rachel writes, "There's a difference between curing and healing, And I believe the church is called to the slow and difficult work of healing. We are called to enter into one another's pain, anointed as holy, and stick around no matter what the outcome. In her book, Jesus Freak, Sarah Miles explains it like this. Jesus calls his disciples, giving us authority to heal and sending us out. He doesn't show us how to reliably cure someone. He doesn't show us how to make a blind man see, dry every tear, or even drive out all kinds of demons. But he shows us how to enter into a way of life in which the broken and sick pieces are held in love and given meaning, in which strangers literally touch each other, and in doing so, make a community spacious enough for everyone. The thing about healing, as opposed to curing, is that it's relational. It takes time. It's inefficient, like a meandering river. Rarely does healing follow a straight or well-lit path. Rarely does it conform to our expectations or resolve in a timely manner. Walking with someone through grief or through the process of reconciliation requires patience, presence, and a willingness to wander, to take the scenic route. But modern-day church doesn't like to wander or wait. The modern-day church likes results. Convinced that the gospel is a product we've got to sell to an increasingly shrinking market, we like our people to function as walking advertisements, happy, put together, finished. Proof that this Jesus stuff works. At its best, such a culture generates pews of Stepford wife robots with painted smiles and programmed moves. At its worst, it creates environments where abuse and corruption get covered up to protect reputations and preserve image. The world is watching, Christians like to say. So let's be on our best behavior and quickly hide the mess. Let's throw up some before and after shots and roll that flashy footage of our miracle product that blanches out every sign of dirt, hiding every sign of disease. But if the world is watching, we might as well tell the truth. And the truth is, the church doesn't offer a cure. It doesn't offer a quick fix. The church offers death and resurrection. The church offers the messy, inconvenient, gut-wrenching, never-ending work of healing. The church offers grace. Anything else we try to peddle is snake oil. It's not the real thing. As Brene Brown puts it, I went to church thinking it would be like an epidural, that it would take the pain away. But church isn't like an epidural. It's like a midwife. I thought faith would say, I'll take the pain and the discomfort. But what it ends up saying is, I'll sit with you in it. Rachel Held Evans, Searching for Sunday. I think there's a book study in there one day. So maybe that's where it links to our moment. Our moment where we choose the messy, gut-wrenching, inconvenient work of healing as a community of faith and as individuals. And I think we're called to recognize when those moments of healing happen for us and when we are healers in those moments. So I'd like you to take a moment now to think back in the last week or so about those moments where the work of healing was happening in the world around you, where either you were somebody that was supported, or whether you were the healer, or whether you saw it in the community at large. But just take a moment to reflect on that yourself. And then I wonder if we would be able to share some of those moments together. So are there moments in the past while where you have seen this community of faith or individuals or the community at large choose the messy, gut-wrenching, inconvenient work of healing that you would like to share?
I wanted to share a wonderful thing that happened at work this week. I work at the downtown community health clinic on Powell Street, and we had our counselor say that there's a very special person coming in today. He has tracked down his foster brother who lives here. He's been looking for him for 30 years. And somehow, and I don't know the whole story, but they found each other, and now this man that has gone through woodlands as a child, has had addiction issues, and now he has his family back. And I've never seen him more at peace and happy, and it was wonderful to see.
Thank you, Olivia.
Last Sunday, there was a group of people that met in Pamela's office, and they did some wonderful work towards the healing of our congregation, and it's the interim ministry team. And they have pulled together very quickly in one session a job description for the interim minister. You can't hear me? Really? Okay, I will repeat.
I can repeat. You can hear my mic, right? Can you hear my mic? Okay. So Nancy is saying that there was a transition team that is working towards the healing of this church community that worked that last Sunday in my office. Do you want to stand? Will you stand? Okay. Face them, then they can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Oh, I can.
I was able, the brother of a friend of mine died yesterday. The brother of a friend of mine?
Just has to eat it. You have to eat the mic.
Eat it?
Yeah, pretty much. Eat it.
The brother of a friend of mine died yesterday, and I was able to send a loving and supportive message to her.
Thank you. Did I mention that the sound system's coming? It's a good thing.
On Monday evening, I joined a group of people that went down to the mosque on 8th Avenue, and there were people from the Jewish faith, from other Christians, and obviously the Muslim faith that were all joined in prayer there, and it was a really wonderful thing.
There's been quite a few places of vigil at mosques all over the country. Did anybody see that picture of the people that held hands around the mosque in Halifax? And it went twice around the mosque. Anybody else see messy healing?
So many people help me so often that it was nice to be in a position to help someone else this week. A woman that lives in the same retirement home with me is mostly blind, and she has a group of friends who live on the same floor as she does, and they have been pals for 3 years. So there's a group of 5 of them. Well, 2 of them mistreated her through words, and she felt very ostracized. I got wind of it by looking at her body language and the fact that she was eating alone. So I said to her, could I come and see you? And she said, sure. So I went to her room 15 minutes later, and I was still talking after 3 hours with her because she kept saying, oh, don't go, don't go. So anyhow, she told me the whole story, and then we went on and talked about other things, and I think she felt better.
Mm-hmm. Deeply listening. Yeah.
I think I just mostly wanted to point out, and I know it would take like hours and days for me to even list the ways that I have felt supported in this community through all of the struggles that my family have been through, but I think that everywhere here, I see it all the time, and it blows me away how much there is so much support and healing going on constantly with everybody, with each other here. It's just a very, very beautifully supportive, loving community.
Maybe Dorothy, stand up. It's easier.
Carmen Lansdowne has accepted the executive director position at First United Church, and she was expected to start March 1. And the staff pleaded with her to come on in earlier. They've been really under a lot of work with people carrying multiple portfolios. And Carmen has said, yes, I just can't remember the date, but she's moved her start date up to take some of the load on and relieve some of the load from others.
I had about 150 passengers that were stranded one way or another by either weather or mechanical in Edmonton. And
Slow down.
oh, okay. So I see, okay. So by the grace of God, we landed about 6 or 7 hour delay into Vancouver, and about 150 passengers were all happy that they were able to go to their destinations, either to Kelowna or to Brisbane, to Australia, Europe. So there was a great healing afterwards.
Mm. Yeah. It's stressful when you can't make your plane connections. It takes a lot of patience. I give thanks for this community every day and the opportunities that you share with one another to be the healing presence and that messy, gut-wrenching compassion that you show one another and the world around us. So know that it starts with us in our hearts and in our minds, and it's good. It's good work that we do. So thank you for sharing that.